से जुड़ा।
Welcome back. The first phase of voting in the assembly polls in Jammu and Kashmir has concluded. A 23 lakh strong electorate across 24 constituencies has decided the fate of 219 candidates in the fray. It is a historic moment as assembly polls are taking place in the Union territory after a decade. In the interim, several crucial decisions by the centre have impacted the lives of the people in Jammu and Kashmir. Yes, it has been 5 years since the abrogation of Article 370. Today's Jammu and Kashmir is a testament to the power of transformation. We have seen a remarkable increase in the voter turnout, which stands at 58.19% in the first phase alone. Since dawn, voters stood outside polling booths, forming long queues in the process. There was no boycott and no bandh whatsoever. In fact, when we spoke to them, they all expressed their elation. What was also very evident was the lack of any mention of Article 370. Almost all voters emphasized on local issues such as price rise, jobs, development and access to water and power. What we are now witnessing is obviously a start of a new era in Jammu and Kashmir. And on that note, let's listen in to the voters' pulse on the ground as well. But we will also talk to our guests who are joining us on the program. Mr. Sumit Peer, senior political commentator, joins us on the program. Major General G.T. Dwivedi, defence expert, also with us on the show. Brigadier Rajan Jamwal, defence expert, joins us on the program as well. Payal Bhayana, Hindu right activist, with us on the show as well. Thank you everyone for being a part of this conversation. Sumit Peer, I'll begin with you. Well, how happy are you to see, this kind of a turnout? And just a few minutes ago, we had a number of Kashmiri pundits also, Sumit, who were with me in the studio. They said, this is a great transformation that we have seen in Jammu and Kashmir. Although, the aspirations and the concerns of the Kashmiri pundits still stand, it is befitting right now to compliment the government for, the democratic exercise that has been conducted and processed seamlessly.
Vinny, thank you very much for having me on your show. What we are witnessing is a change, is a phenomenon which has happened in last 7 decades, I would say. Imagine the Kashmir of 90s and imagine the Kashmir today. There is a complete transformation. Look, we are talking of an election with around 226 booths, not one single incident of violence. Though Pakistan and ISI must have tried their level best to do kahin to kuch kare, but again they were defeated. The 58% turnout is phenomenal. If you look at areas like Kishtwar, which used to be terrorist infested, 76% turnout. Others were around 40, 50, 60. So overall at a 56 turnout. And when you look at the J&K, we need the classical mistake. What we do is we always compare everything with the valley. Look at the overall picture, which includes Jammu, Kashmir, Bhadra, Doda, Kishtwar, all put together. And if you're talking for 58% plus turnout, if you're talking of no violence, if you're talking of people queuing up, if in a place like Pulwama, you're talking of 36%, Banihal 48% and all, I think a lot has changed because, what Prime Minister Modi did was 370 and 35A. I mean, that was a hell of a job to do. Honestly, it was not easy. That had broken the stranglehold of the Kashmir-based parties. I'm not calling them J&K parties. They are valley-based parties like National Conference and PDP. PDP is essentially a South Kashmir-based party, nothing more than that. So when the stranglehold was broken, the investments have come in, tourists have come in, development has come in, things have come in, and we could prove to the world, look, after 5 years, we have 60% turnout, and this is how it has happened. I mean, 60% is no kidding, no one single instance of violence. And with all these canards and all these lies, which were, people are not happy, nobody is coming to vote. And we have seen, Vineet, the same constituency 7% turnout, 8% turnout, 11% turnout. अब देखिए कहाँ है 11% है कहाँ 58% है. I mean the rise is phenomenal. Whoever wins or loses, that's a different issue. But if you look at the J&K overall, it's a great achievement. If you look at the fortunes of BJP and the J&K overall, all the three regions put together, it's a great achievement. There's a lot to do, but we have turned the tide. I would say today we have turned the tide. We have shown to the world that we can deliver and we will do whatever we want. I think the people of J&K are also seeing development. We need your program. I think 31st December, we saw people at 12 in the Lal Chowk. We are seeing Dal Lake full with shikaras. We are seeing a hotel room going at 1 lakh rupees. We are seeing 2 crore tourists going there. And we are seeing a drastic drop in the violence. Though Jammu area and all, there are some problems which is especially manifested by Pakistan. Look at the irk of the Pakistan today. Look at the irk of ISI today. They could not move a goddamn brick in Kashmir. They could not, Jammu to chhodiye, they could not move a brick in Kashmir. That is the phenomenal achievement. And now the world we see the democracy has come back. 335A, 370 is buried, gone. They will never ever come back. Umar Abdullah and all can try their level best. We can keep on, doing wo kehte hain na Mungeri Lal ke Hasin sapne. We'll bring it back. We'll do this. They can keep on doing a alliance with, Rahul Gandhi, and these independent Jamaatis can come and contest. But the grounds thing is that people are not with you. If people were against 35 and 370, how do you expect a 60% turnout, Mr. Abdullah? And now are you going to complain to China? ये गुपकार वाले China के पास भी बहुत जाते हैं यार. I hope he has not called China and asked them, sir, ये 60% turnout कैसे हो गया? I think the policies of Prime Minister Modi has worked. There's a lot of work to be done, Vineet. There's a lot of things to be done. Kashmiri Pandit community, yeah, a lot of aspirations are there which need to be settled. A lot of issues need to be settled. But it is not about you are on my aspirations, you are on my gains. We as India, when we look at Kashmir after the abrogation of 35 and 370, I can tell you today, we have turned the tide. And that is the message which should go to the Islamic world, which should go to the Pakistan, and which should go to the whole world around. The biggest ever democratic exercise after 10 years, with 60% turnout, 3,033 polling booths, not even one bullet or one incident of violence. That is the achievement. That means the people on the ground are with you. They want development, they want change, and you are rightly saying, we need. मुद्दा क्या है? मुद्दा है साहब नौकरी दे दो, give us powers, give us development, we need jobs, we need all these normal things. I mean, people, nobody talked Pakistan, nobody talked independence, nobody is talking except Umar Abdullah and Rahul Gandhi, 35 and 370. And this is also a tight snap on the faces of the people who were talking of Kohe Suleiman and Kohe Maran. I mean, they have to realize their mistakes. And if they keep on doing this, they will be decimated. And Umar Abdullah, I pity him after he lost to Rashid Engineer in Baramulla, including Ganderbal, which is his own controversy by 150,000 votes. I don't know where he gets the courage and talks about I'll get 335 and 370 back. Well, Umar, it's not going to happen in your and my life. There's not a lot of difference between us. You're a couple of years elder to me. It's not going to happen in your and my life. So you can keep on trying. You can keep on trying to keep the people backward and give them those illusions and delusions. But the kind of turnout which we have seen today, Mr. Abdullah and Mr. Rahul Gandhi, this is a testimony to the fact that all your propaganda, all your canard has fallen apart. And sorry, you Manish Shankar Iyer ji went to Pakistan. Arey, ye Modi ji ko hatane ke liye kuch madad karo. Pakistan did not help. You were talking of going to China. Again, China did not help. So Pakistan, China, OIC, OPEC, all those, what are called formations did not help. The people of J&K have shown you the mirror. I don't know who is the winner and who is not, but this kind of a democratic exercise.
Okay, you're right, Sumit. You're absolutely right. Well articulated. And before I bring in my other guests, we're going to look at those reactions that I spoke of at the beginning of this show from the people on the ground.
हमने वोट डाला है इसलिए डाला है कि हमको इस आवाम से कोई फ़ायदा मिल जाएगा. हमारी यहाँ के सड़कें हैं, नाले हैं, बाकी है, बेरोज़गार बच्चे हैं, इसीलिए वोट डाला हमने.
बेरोज़गारी का मसला है या माली हालात ख़राब हो गया, कुछ काम नहीं रहा यहाँ, सब बेकार है.
सबसे बड़ी बात जो है बेकारी है बच्चों को. बच्चे बेकार है, अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट है, और है डेवलपमेंट का, और है भाईचारे का. सबसे बड़ा है आपस में भाईचारा होना चाहिए, उसी के लिए हमने वोट दिया है.
हमें यहाँ पे लोकल इश्यूज बहुत सारे हैं. हमारा यहाँ पे लोकल भाईचारा भी ख़राब हो रहा है. तो हम लोग डेवलपमेंट के लिए और लोकल भाईचारा के लिए, जो यहाँ हिंदू मुस्लिम भाईचारा है ना, डोडा की एक परंपरा है बहुत पहले से. यहाँ बहुत, ये हमारे अंकल हैं, ये देखें, ये हिंदू हैं, ये मुस्लिम हैं, अभी यहाँ पे आपके सामने गले मिल रहे थे. यहाँ पे हम लोग ये चाहते हैं कि ये भाईचारा यहाँ पे मेंटेन रहे.
हमने पहले भी कहा था कि यहाँ पर डेवलपमेंट चाहिए. हमारे बेरोजगारी बहुत है. यहाँ कोई एक बड़ा सा प्रोजेक्ट हो जहाँ पर हज़ारों लोग उसमें हैं, और कोई कारखाना हो जिसमें हज़ारों लोग वहाँ पर काम करें और अपने रोटी रोजी कमा सकें. दूसरी बात मैंने कहा था, ये पहाड़ियाँ नज़र आ रही हैं चारों तरफ से, इनके दामन में बड़े बड़े अच्छे स्पॉट्स हैं, टूरिस्ट स्पॉट्स, अगर इनको टूरिस्ट स्पॉट्स को अपग्रेड किया जाए।
इलाकों में मुद्दे रोड के मसले हैं, पानी के मसले हैं, बिजली के मसले हैं। ये मसले हल करने के लिए हुकूमत जरूरी है। पिछले 10 साल से आवाम सफर कर रहा है, किसी की सुनवाई नहीं है, कहीं पे अफसरों का राज चल रहा है, लोगों की रसाई नहीं है कहीं दफ्तर पे। तो जब हुकूमत बनती है तो आम लोग किसी के पास जा सकते हैं, इनकी सुनवाई हो सकती है। इसीलिए आज लोग कतारों में खड़े हैं, जोक तर जोक आए हैं कि हम वोट डालें, हम अपना नुमाइंदा चुने जिसके पास हम सुबह जाके अपनी मसाइल का हल ढूंढे।
यहाँ पे तो इशू तो बहुत है सर। अब हम चाहते हैं कि किसी की हुकूमत बननी चाहिए सर।
बिल्कुल।
जो हम सख्ती मतलब पिछले 6 साल से उठा रहे हैं सर। मुसीबत है घरों में सर, पानी की सख्ती है, बिजली की सख्ती है, रोड की सख्ती है सर। घर में मतलब बेकार बैठे हैं जो ग्रेजुएशन पास है सर, जिन्होंने मतलब पढ़ लिख के मतलब सर अब किरियान चला रहे हैं सर, मतलब रेडियो पे मतलब सर कुछ भेज रहे हैं। मुद्दा है सर, पावर की मुद्दा है, पानी की मुद्दा है, रोडों की मुद्दा है। सब यहाँ हम आज इंशाल्लाह मतदान करने आएंगे, ये जान करके कल किसी की हुकूमत बन जाएगी कि वो हमारी।
General Dwivedi is also with us. General Dwivedi, your assessment of the situation as it stands today in Jammu and Kashmir. Like Sumit said, that the impossible to a large extent has been made possible by the efforts and the will of this government, political will as well as the will to change and transform the lives of the people. But challenges still remain. Like I said, the Kashmiri Pandit issue, the militancy of course has come down by almost 90%. But Jammu and Kashmir is perhaps one of the most beautiful places in the world, and to leverage it in terms of a tourism angle is also something that the government aspires to do, and for that to happen it needs to be completely calm.
Absolutely, Vineet. I think you use the word, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think you use the word new era, absolutely right. Because what we are seeing today is a phenomenal paradigm change, and the whole narrative is totally different today. Having done multiple tenures in J&K, in all parts, north and south of East Punjab, I can say that what has happened today is definitely was not actually thinkable only about 2 decades back. Now coming to specific points, why say narrative has changed? Today the narrative is about development. Today narrative is about employment. Today narrative is about tourism, and we heard also some of our countrymen who was on the channel that the whole issue is different. They're no more about the stone pelting, no more about the protest. No, the change is very positive, and this change did come about after the abrogation of Article 370. In fact, that was required because there was a nexus between the politicians, especially the valley politicians, the militants, or terrorists, and of course the ISI, who are playing into the complete destruction of this state. I'd like to make 3-4 important points. First and foremost, I think elections are the essence of democratic system, and in fact, J&K went back point in time because the election was rigged in some point of time, and that was the start point of the whole, I would say, fueling of insurgency and of course instability. So that is the first point. The elections are on the cards. They are very healthy elections, 58%. No untoward instances. People are exuberant, enthusiastic. That shows the pulse of the ground and also the aspiration of the people. Second point is we can't wish away what Pakistan is up to. They have been on the proxy war for the last 3 decades, and they have not been able to disturb the elections, but nonetheless, they have been very active south of Punjab, especially in Rajouri, Poonch and Doda area where I have operated extensively. We got to be on the guard. Third point is that whatever the parties come into power, they should be given a free hand to run their affairs, because you cannot run the country on remote control. It's the people on the ground who actually decide their own fate, and I feel that they should be given encouragement to run their own affairs with minimal bureaucratic interference, but a lot of support. And the fourth point is the development. Tourism you talked about. I have spent good deal of time in Switzerland, and I have spent about 8 to 10 years in Valley. All I can say is that we are underexploiting the potential of the valley. We are underexploiting the potential of the people. And this is the time, because once the peace comes, prosperity follows. So therefore, I think these elections will set a process of peace, will bring the people's government, and we see a very bright future. But only one point we got to ensure, that Pakistan is always a spoiler, and we got to be very wary. And today, China and Pakistan are in collusion, and that can't be wished away. While progress is there, but we have to keep our guard, and our defense forces, security forces must ensure that this apple cart is not turned over. Vineet.
Absolutely. Payal Bhayana, Kashmir needs more than assurances from politicians. Kashmir needs, a plan. And a plan was activated 5 years ago. Do you think that it's met with its expectations?
See, Vineet, I found it very strange that when I heard the common men, the people of Jammu and Kashmir talking about development, roads chahiye, pani chahiye, so naukri nahi hai, jobs nahi hai, they were saying this. It's so strange. For 75 years, they didn't want all this. They just voted for Abdullahs and Muftis, 5 years Abdullah, 6 years for Abdullah, 6 years for Mufti government, and they never demanded this. They never, maybe, I don't know what they wanted. They didn't want roads, pani, bijli, they didn't want. And it's a compliment for Mr. Modi that now they expect this from him. And the sad part is, Valley is not going to still vote for BJP. They're not going to vote for Mr. Modi. Secondly, I would like to say that it's my request, Vineet, that we should talk about Jammu. What I feel, Jammu has been neglected. Since 75 years, we've been just hearing about what bad happened in the valley and what bad treatment was given to the valley. They've always played a victim card, and we've never spoken about Jammu. And Jammu is the region jiska, X percentage of land was taken away in 1948. They were the ones who always stood with India. They have always been in favor of India. They have never killed any tourists. They've never killed, or there was never a genocide of minorities, in spite of 84% of Hindus we have there. And nobody talks about Jammu. It's all about development in Kashmir, strong military forces in Kashmir. Everything is about the valley. Bijli Pani Valley, a chief minister of the valley. We never talk about the leaders of Jammu. We only talk about Abdullahs and Muftis because they belong to the valley. So it's so sad that Jammu has been neglected, and Jammu is the region who votes for BJP. But still, in spite of Jammu Kashmir being under the Modi government, under the centers in the last 10 years, what has happened? Nothing. Nothing for Jammu, everything for the valley. That's what I would like to end my...
Those are good points that you've made, worth pondering over. Brigadier Jamwal, what do you think of what Payal has said, that, there wasn't a need, or rather an ask for roads and development, and now that there is a need, the government that created this particular space for this development is probably going to be ignored?
You see, the kind of issues the electorate is raising today, it shows that today even Kashmir is great with the rest of the country. I mean, that's what the elections are fought on these points in the rest of the country. The time is gone when the elections were fought on hum kya chahte, azadi, vagara. All that is over now. So it is now the same issue which the rest of the country is facing, the same issues the Kashmiris are raising. That is one issue. Payal has followed a very valid point about exploitation of Jammu. I mean, that has been going on since 47, and the Kashmiris had a viewpoint that the balance had to come because of 100 plus years of Dogra rule, all those things, and this thing was there. Now, if you look at the resources in Kashmir and Jammu, Kashmir, apart from good weather, has nothing. All your hydroelectricity, I mean, total, you have got about 20,000 megawatts, 14,000 something is in Jammu, 3,000 is in Kashmir. And that too, basically because Kishan Ganga project and all. I mean, you can't produce electricity out of a valley. this thing. So most of your electricity is produced in Jammu. Your minerals, except the sand from Jhelum River, you get no minerals in Kashmir. Now Uri mein some limestone and gypsum has come up. Otherwise, most of the mineral resources all are in Jammu. This was all exploited for Kashmir benefit. You would be surprised that the pine which grows mostly in Jammu but it is not usable in Jammu because used for house construction in Kashmir. It was given as subsidized rates to Kashmir all this time. So there are a whole lot of issues. That's a very valid point. And the problem with Jammu Kashmir is, you see, Jammu, Kashmir and Delhi are what I call three, this thing now of a triangle. What one wants, other two will never want. You take it any issue, it will always remain a triangle. So it requires a lot of, I would say, intellectual ability to get them on a platform, what exactly all three can agree, which is in everybody's interest, that defined. Third, I would say, the voter turnout notwithstanding, Kashmir, by and large, is still a radicalized society. It's a radicalized society. I'm a frequent visitor there. In fact, I stay about at least 1/3 of my time there. It's this thing. You try starting an entrepreneurship in Kashmir. You are welcome as a tourist. You are not welcome as an entrepreneur. They won't let you survive. They won't let you. You'll have a whole lot of problems. We had the cases of even forget at the higher level. Even as a taxi driver, somebody tries. So it is a radical society. Some de-radicalization move government has the thing. The last point I want to make is the tragedy with Kashmir has been, it is always anti-India, being anti-India has always been rewarded. It was rewarded all through. It is only now in last few years when people have openly started, carrying tricolors on the houses and on 15th August, 26th August, this thing is started. Otherwise, you were prosecuted. I have had cases where, I sent somebody to this thing. A case was registered against him by the local SHO and openly told, "Tum Hindustan ke pithu ban rahe ho." So this is the kind which has been continuing for this thing. It is only recently now the trend is changing. And there is a constituency, even a nationalist constituency, even if it's a small one, it needs to be nurtured. The people who have been with India for last 20, 30, 40 years, through the thick and thin of terrorism, who have stood by us, they need to be rewarded now. This is what was happening was, it was always the Hurriyat people, they were the ones being rewarded. It was their recommendation, you could get a medical college seat. It was their recommendation, you could get a contract. And this was continuing. You will be surprised to a large extent, it still continues. This thing, because this is embedded in the bureaucracy of J&K. It is embedded in the bureaucracy of J&K. You have to understand J&K all the time. And it has been nurtured over a long period of time. We have to come down with a very heavy hand on this.
All right, we've run out of time. Sumit, you wanted to say something quickly, please?
Yeah,
We need just two or three.
Yeah, Jaldivedi, I'll come to you as well, sir.
Just 2 or 3 quick points. If J&K is a Everest, we have reached the base camp only. That's the first point. I completely agree. Look, I've been always telling and shouting my lungs out on national TV all these years. You cannot think J&K from Kashmir. 15% of the valley having 65% of the MLA seats will determine whoever the chief minister is. That is the first thing. Unless and until you do a delimitation, a proper delimitation, Jammu people will never get their rights. Jammu has been deprived, Hindus have been deprived, there's no doubt on that. Dogras have had grave injustice done to them. There is no doubt in them. Even in the people of Doda, Kishtewar and all, they have also faced a lot of atrocities. This 15% of the valley controlling 65% of the MLA seats is we need recipe for disaster. We need delimitation. First promise was election, kar diya. Statehood will be happen, but statehood should not be restored before you do a proper delimitation. And we cannot have this precedence that always there has to be a Muslim chief minister. Sorry, for last 75 years it is happening. Agar aap aaj bhi dekhoge, I'll tell you South Kashmir will go PDP way because you don't know ये जमात कहाँ खत्म होती, पीडीपी कहाँ शुरू होता, पीडीपी कहाँ खत्म होता, हिजबुल मुजाहिदीन कहाँ शुरू होता. That's the reality. Jawal sir will tell you, he's a military veteran here. General Dwivedi will tell you, they're all military veterans. They will tell you this is a reality what we are facing. So unless and until we do the proper delimitation and have everybody an equal chance, why can't there be a Hindu chief minister of J&K? This is what I want to ask. We have reached the base camp. I'm happy with it. I'm all gun go. We have defeated Pakistan all gun go. But what are next steps? Next steps is that today it's not a question of Kashmiri Pandits. If the things continue like that, all the Hindus in Doda, Kishtwar and all, they will again face the same fate. We have to be very strong with the terror, and we have to be very strong with the terrorism.
All right. Quickly. General Dwivedi wants to come in as well. We have run out of time, Sumit. I apologize for that. General Dwivedi, quickly, sir.
First and foremost, this Peer Panjal mindset divide need to go. I think interdependency of Jammu and Kashmir Valley will be one of the steps we can take. Secondly, Jammu today has 3 very premier institutions. I teach in 2 of them. AIMS is there, IIT is there, IIMs are there. So Jammu is getting its share of, I think, the development. And my last point is that moment interdependency come in, people grow together, we have to create win-win situation. That time has come. I think the election will set the process where people will realize that when you have interdependency, co-development, and that's the time peace and prosperity comes, and that's that time the Peer-Panjal divide will get actually diluted.
All right. Thank you for those comments, sir. We've run out of time. Thanking all my guests who were a part of this conversation. We'll be right back.
Co-powered